welcome to episode 5
of
the Orkney Series. This is Jeana.
Hello! This is Harv!
And we've come this week to the capital of Orkney, which is of course Kirkwall.
We have indeed, and if you can see, there's a sign just above Harv's head called the Strand, and this is what we're going to be focusing on primarily today, and it's this passageway just that leads up to a road up there.
We've come to Kirkwall obviously, but we're not going to cover much of Kirkwall in this episode because there's so many tunes from here that we're going to come back and cover it more in the rest of the series later on.
Exactly.
So for now, enjoy the Strand.
Okay, so we're going to take you on a PD trip up the Strand, and the Strand actually had 3 different names that we were able to find. As it's known now, the Strand came into being around 1860, 1870, and before that it was known as the Strand. Now the Strand is basically the same, it just means a narrow street or passage, and this is certainly what it is. And before that, it was quite posh actually. It was known as the King's Passage.
Ooh, fancy.
A fancy. Although I couldn't actually find any written evidence as to when that came into being.
It's not a problem though, because we never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Okay, so the reason I'm fairly certain it was called the King's Passage, absolutely, is because back in the 1780s or thereabouts, a young Prince William, not the one that we have now, but a young Prince William came to Orkney. He was a young midshipman in the Navy, and whilst here he came and visited quite a well-known family, and they lived here on the Strand in one of these houses behind us.
William actually then went on to be crowned king in June 1830.
1830.
So that must be where the King's Passage came from.
Yeah, and stuck for a wee while. There you go.
If it did. We're visiting the Strand today.
We are.
To celebrate the music of another fantastic Orcadian composer and fiddle player, a man called Hugh Inkster. He was originally from Rousay, the island of Rousay, but moved into Kirkwall at the age of 8.
When Hugh moved into Kirkwall, he started playing the fiddle, and he wrote a few tunes which we'll tell you more about, but one in particular is called the Strand, and that is why we are here today. We're going to actually leave you in the very capable hands of the wonderful Ingy Jolly to tell you a little bit more about Hugh, and meanwhile we're going to go into the cafe to get some yummies.
My name's Ingy Jolly, living in Kirkwall, and I'm holding the amazing fiddle belonging to Hugh Engster, who I used to play with for about 1980 until just before he died in 1988. We had some great times, and he was a really, really good player. When he played, it was as if his fingers were like needles, and they just jumped on the strings, they just darted. And I was actually asked if I'd play along with him for the St Magnus Festival for Jonesman's Folly. Now, if you could see it closer, there is actually a crack in the fiddle here. And Hugh got this fiddle when he was about 8 years old, and he took it to baby camp, which of course means a lot of boys out in Derner. And they were having lots of fun, and one chap whose name escapes me right now, he sat in the fiddle by accident, and this fiddle's had a crack in it ever since.
So we're going to finish our walk up to the other end of the Strand now, and as we do so we're going to be accompanied with some lovely music, and this music that you'll hear is Hugh himself playing another one of his beautiful tunes, and this tune's called Inverness. So enjoy the music.
Yep.
We're going to
I'm just looking up here, Harv.
We're going to go up here at a fair rate of knots. The Strand is a very dangerous place. There's missiles,
everywhere.
Yeah, and they come from those trees there and the lovely birds that occupy them. So we're gonna run. Stitch after that.
You did good.
We're getting right fit during this
I
series,
know.
I must say.
Woohoo.
It's good.
No missiles on your head?
I know.
Nope.
None that weren't there before.
None.
Ingeness was one of Hugh's tunes, the tune that you just heard there, and he actually only wrote 4 tunes in his lifetime.
That's right. So out of the 4 tunes, he actually played 3 of them together in a set. And Ingeness was the first one in the set. And the tune that you're going to hear us play today is the Strand, and it was number 2 in his set. And if you fancy listening to Hugh playing it, the full set himself, it can be bought on a CD, which you're going to see just now on your screens.
You can see in the CD cover there, fantastic Ingy Jolly, who was speaking before, and also there's a lovely link to last week's episode from our featured composer that week, which was of course Ali Winnick, and you can see him sitting in the middle of the picture just there as well.
So we've actually come just a pretty bit up from the Strand, and we've come to a place called Copeland's Lane, and it's quite special because this wee cottage behind us here is actually where Hugh lived with his wife Dorothy and their family for many years.
I guess we'd better get on with the main event of the video and give this tune a blast. So we're going to give you a shot of the Strand, and we're excited about this because Strathspeys aren't the most common tunes up here in Orkney.
No.
They're quite rare in fact, so it's great to be able to play one of them for you, and we're going to play it in the kind of old Orcadian style,
Yep.
as we've come to hear, which is a little bit faster than they would play it probably in the rest of Scotland.
Yeah, that's
Is
it.
that the case?
I think so.
So here's the Strand.